Hello, I am back on YouTube. It has been a while. I was pretty consistent for a few weeks and then I just fell off. But I'm back and I'm going to do a Q&A, answering some questions from friends, fans and anyone else. Maybe not fans, I don't know. Whoever, people from Twitter. Give it a watch. And so, the first question we got is from Danny. Danny says, Arnold, despite reaching the pinnacle promotion of MMA, you interact with MMA fans and the MMA community with positivity, humility and humour. What helps you remain your authentic self despite your continued success? I don't know really, to be honest. I feel like I'm just still a big fan of the sport myself. Like growing up, I was that kid on Twitter sending messages to the fighters, and I think I still have messages to Dan Hardy asking if I could come train with him and all sorts. So yeah, I just remember being in that, you know, that part of the sport and being on the outside of it and watching people I liked, and I always thought it was cool when they responded. So I figure I'm gonna always try and respond to my fans, and even if they're not fans, I'll just try and respond. What has been my favourite fight so far? Hugh Morris asked that. Hugh Morris and a peach. Nice. My favourite fight of mine, unless you're talking about other people's, but my fight, Gilbert Melendez. I think the win over Gilbert Melendez is probably my favourite. First time fighting a big name, ex-champion, and first time in Vegas, you know, the biggest sort of, the fight capital. Yeah, I feel like I performed really well, everything but putting him away, and sort of show all the skills I got. Yeah, that one, definitely Gilbert Melendez so far. Michael, the Polish Power Bisbin, what is the key to getting killer abs? Have your dad take a lot of steroids before you're born, and that will give you a genetic advantage naturally. Sean Abbott asked me, this is a good question, why is it you are not fighting as often as some of these other guys? DC thinks you're a dangerous fighter to anyone. I've watched all your fights that are on YouTube. It's time for new highlight reels. Yeah, I agree with you. Just a lot of bad luck, really. Bad luck, injuries, visas not being processed in time to get fights, me getting sick and having to pull out fights, me getting injured and having to decline fights, opponents getting injured and pulling out. Like in 2020, I had a couple of fights fall through, that a couple of big fights. I think I was supposed to fight Josh Emmett at the start of the year, and then I was also supposed to fight Jeremy Stevens at the end of the year, and both of those guys got injured, and then we ended up fighting Sadiq in April of the next year. So just little things like that, things just not lining up and having to wait. But yeah, I'm trying to work on it. I'm waiting for clearance on a broken hand, so we're nearly there. Pretty Locks asked me, who's your favourite fighter in my division and dream matchup in your division? So in the featherweights, like obviously he's not featherweight anymore, but always my favourite featherweight was Aldo. But I think obviously him not being featherweight anymore, it'd be Max Holloway. He's doing everything that everyone else wants to be. Like, he's been a champion. He's so young. He's fought everyone. He's fought so many fights. He's kind of done it all, and he's not that old really. So it has to be Max Holloway really. Every time he fights, he turns up and has a really exciting fight. Dream matchup. I always said the dream matchup would be whoever's the champion at the time, and like, yeah, I think that's a good matchup for me to fight someone like Volkanovski. So yeah, I'll go with that. Rushav asked, what made you want to get into MMA? Just like since a kid, always watching martial arts films, training, kickboxing, like even all the cartoons and whatnot. I was always sort of a fan of martial arts in one way or another. And then I started boxing. I kind of got bored of learning one discipline and wanted to sort of learn more things. And I started doing grappling as well. And then by accident I was doing MMA, and then I started competing in MMA. So yeah, just like that really. Ant Ball, do you think there is a reason for a disproportionately large number of top-ranked British fighters being southpaw? You, Leon, Till, Bisbin's left-handed, is he? No, I don't think so. I just think that's a coincidence, really. Yeah. Brandon Burns asked, who is the toughest test in that division who is not Volkanovski or Max Holloway? I'm gonna go with Yair Rodriguez. I think after that last fight with Max Holloway, he sort of really proved himself. I mean, he was already kind of proven, but he sort of showed how good he is, and he gave a lot of problems to Max Holloway. And a lot of people consider Max Holloway as the champion already, so he'd be the toughest test, I think, at this point in time. The legendary Polish plower asked me, if you were not a fighter, what would you be? If I wasn't a fighter, I would probably still be loading containers down the docks. And yeah. Oblique Kick Anto asks, what ventures outside the combat and sporting world are you investing or think about investing in to build your brand for post-combat life? I'll be honest with you, I'm really not thinking about that right now. Like, as much as maybe I should. Focusing on now and you know, winning the next few fights, winning all the fights, and training, getting better. I mean, naturally the sort of thought is always going into some sort of coaching role and being a part of martial arts in some way, maybe like my own gym or something. There's always that sort of thought. But yeah, I haven't really put much thought into my post-career yet. I don't feel like I'm at that point where I'm going to start putting in thought into like retirement and what comes next. Tony Ferguson's Das, what do you think about the Detroit urban survival training guy? I've been seeing those guys' videos and he's awesome. I hope he's a troll and I hope that ain't real, because that's messed up if he's really teaching people that bullshit. I hope it's a joke. Effie, do you ever pay attention or are aware of the betting odds in your fights? I don't intentionally go out my way to look at the betting odds or anything like that. It's pretty impossible to avoid it, and I get a lot of messages of people telling me how much money they've bet on me, and you know, I put £1,000 on you, you better not lose. And then I'm sort of sitting there thinking, all right, now I'm going to try and win actually, because this guy's put some money on me. And I get all sorts of tweets and things tagging me in like live betting odds and whatnot. So yeah, I'm aware. I don't like it when people send me those messages, because I'm going to try and win anyway. Max, who's your favourite fighter growing up watching MMA? The first guy that kind of took my eye that I was watching, which probably come as a bit of a surprise for the way I fight, is Vanderlei Silva. It was kind of like the first guy that really sort of got me into MMA and like made me want to pursue like this as a goal. Yeah, I just really enjoy the way he fights, and ironically I kind of fight the complete opposite the way he used to. So I don't know how to say that. Chanters or something. What is your top 3 takeaway choices? Number 1 is probably what I order the most is a Domino's, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's my favourite, but I definitely order it the most. Number 2, an Indian. I love an Indian. And number 3, I would go for a kebab. So, next question. Sam Page asks me, how many Arnold Allens do you seriously believe it would take to beat one Francis Ngannou? I think 3 of us have definitely got it. I think 3 of us could definitely take him. 2 might be... Yeah, you know what, I'm going to go with 3. I reckon 3. Like one of us to jump on his back, one of us to take a beating, and then one of us just to slide in and, you know, while he's hammering the other one. Yeah, 3 of us. 3 of us will do him. Orthodox Connor says, you can only buy 1 meal deal for the rest of your life. What is it? Any shop. Assuming Tesco's keeps the meal deal at £3, which I hope it does, I'll be exclusively getting my meal deals from Tesco with a roast chicken stuffing sandwich, one of the naked smoothies, maybe the mango one, yeah, that one, and a Boost Duo. That would be that's my go-to, I think. Riley Diaz asks, how many penguin chocolate bars do you reckon you could eat in one sitting? I reckon I could probably eat about 10, but then I get sidetracked because I keep reading the jokes on them. I do like the penguin jokes, to be honest, so it'd probably take me a while to get through them. So probably like 20 actually, yeah. Jamie asks, would you rather have a lifetime supply of Boost bars or an interim title fight? An interim title fight. Because I think if I want an interim title fight, I could probably have the lifetime supply anyway. So I get a 2-in-1 on that one. James asks, What's the largest animal you could single-handedly cling film to a lamppost? Cling film to a lamppost. What do I reckon I could cling film to? I might be thinking for a second. I reckon I could get a sheep like to a thing, you know? They're quite big, you know, when you see them they're all fluffy. I reckon I could hold one there and wrap it up. Nice one. So we've got Bradley. He asked, what realistic goal do you aim to achieve? And to spice it up, what unrealistic goal do you hope to achieve? The realistic goal is to be featherweight champion in the UFC. I feel like that's pretty realistic. I'm currently ranked number 6 and I think I have the longest win streak in the division at the minute. Unrealistic, I don't really have any unrealistic goals, to be honest, but I mean, just being good at Call of Duty would be a winner. I'm hoping for that. Tempolis, I don't know if that's how I'm saying, Tempolich. He asked me the toughest camp I have gone through. Probably the Mads Burnell camp. Just like I wasn't in a great place, and I felt like pretty like crap. I got sick in the camp. I was sick in the fight. I didn't have any money. I spent it all, and yeah, I couldn't pull out of the fight because I needed some money. And yeah, that's probably by far the worst camp. It wasn't very enjoyable, basically. But yeah, that'd be the one. Got the result though, so it's a winner. Kyle Sarah asks, if I could choose a finish to add to your highlight reel, what would it be? I always wanted a head kick knockout. I always thought it would be really cool to get a head kick knockout on my highlight reel. Obviously me doing it, but yeah. Antonio asks, who won? Volk versus Max 2, I need a fighter's perspective. I thought Max Holloway won the second one. I watched it a few times. I don't think it was a robbery or anything, but yeah. I watched it a couple times, but I always scored it differently. Like I scored the rounds differently, so I see how there could be a case for Volkanovski winning that one. Carl Bolton 02, he says, if a movie was to be made of you, which actor would play you and why? Which actor would play? Oh, and what's my guilty pleasure? My guilty pleasure is probably Kate Bush. I like to listen to her music before training sometimes. But I don't know who would play me. Let's go with Idris Elba. Connor asks, first thing you're gonna do when that belt gets thrown around your waist, meal deal or party? If I do win the belt, I assume it's not gonna be fighting in London, and there probably ain't gonna be a Tesco's nearby. So I'll probably just go party, to be honest. Colin Krause asked, any tips to give someone getting into MMA to compete for their first time? I always just say, just like get stuck in and do everything. Because people sort of kind of pick and choose their favourite disciplines, and you know, if you're gonna rather go boxing than wrestling, then go boxing and don't do the wrestling at all. If you're gonna do MMA, it's no good being an MMA fighter that just hits pads and does boxing sparring. You need to do the lot. So just throw yourself in the deep end and do jiu-jitsu, do wrestling, do Muay Thai, do boxing, you know. Don't just pick a favourite discipline like striking and then neglect the grappling aspect of it. I think you have to do everything. And naturally, you're going to enjoy one more than the other, but the better you get at something, the more you enjoy it, right? Next, we have Sport Garms. He asks, what is your favourite TV show of all time? Favourite movie of all time? Probably my favourite TV show is probably Vikings. I watched it a couple times and I really like Vikings. And I get into that sort of Viking mode where I start feeling like I could be there. And my favourite movie of all time, probably watched it like 20 times, is Snatch, I reckon. It's just a classic. Ron, the giraffe, asks, if you had to pick a current or past MMA fighter to help you in a WWE Tag Team Championship match against the New Age Outlaws, who would it be and what song would you come out to? Can't be Brock, CM Punk or Shamrock. I think I would go with Butterbean. Does he count as an MMA fighter? He had some MMA fighters, didn't he? Yeah, Butterbean would be my tag team partner. And I don't know what we would walk out to. He'd probably pick, to be honest. So I'd leave it to Butterbean to pick. Jared asked, why 3 first names? If you had to rearrange them, how would you do it? I would probably go with Billy Allen Arnold, because I get called Billy quite a lot in some places, and Arnold's usually sort of a bit more common as a last name in England, so that probably makes sense. Yeah. P Para MMA asked, do you think that Jake Paul will one day be the heavyweight champion of the UFC? Yeah, I reckon the fight with him and Francis Ngannou would probably go down like really well for him, so he should probably pursue that. The legendary Polish Flower is back, and he asked, who's your favourite British fighter that's not in your team or training camp? I really like watching Leon Edwards. I think he's my favourite fighter to watch, and as like another southpaw, I like to watch the way he works, and yeah, I like the way he fights as well, so he's probably my favourite. The real Jordan, something tells me this isn't the real Jordan, but he says, do you think there is an unfair advantage in how fighters make weight? Should the UFC be implementing? Oh, that's another question. I don't really know. Everyone with the weights is everyone makes the weight, and as long as they make the weight, you can't really, if you make the 170 limit, you're a 170 fighter. So they took away the IV bags and stuff. I've never used them personally, but I know a lot of people talk about it and say it makes a big difference. So, but yeah, each their own. But no, I don't think they need to change anything. Michael Stewart asks, what is my go-to meal for once I've made weight day before a fight? Yeah, it's nothing really interesting, to be honest. I just snack on a load of like baby food for a bit and drink some rehydration shakes, and the first meal I probably have once my stomach's back to normal is like chicken and potatoes, like really boring stuff. Anything fun kind of comes after the fight, really. Lynx says, would you be open to changing your nickname to Arnold the Meal Deal Allen? You spelled Allen wrong. No, I wouldn't. I mean, unless Tesco want to pay some big money to make it happen, then yeah, and it wants to be life-changing money as well. Thank you for all the questions, guys. I'm going to try and be a bit more active on the old tubes now. If you're interested in looking for any supplements and stuff like that, and nutrition and all that, over at MyProtein, you can make some big savings if you use my code Almighty10. I'll put the link in the description, and it's over 30% off, but if they have a special sale on, you'll save more than whatever the sale is by using my code. So if you want any supplements and things of that nature, get over there, use the code. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe or something.